All right, perfect. So we are live, we are recording, and today we're going to talk about something really exciting, which is social media. And we're going to talk about best practices for running we can say it's a social media ad. We'll probably call it a Facebook ad because that's what we find most of the people are really using command for, is Facebook specifically for their ads. So I'd love to hear from all of you first. And I've got a question for the day, and I'm going to have you drop your answer or your response in chat if you are able to. Some of you are driving, so please don't drop answers in chat if you are driving. Just pay attention to the road and maybe listen to us. But for those of you that are able to drop your response in chat, I would like to hear from you. And if you can remember, what is the last advertisement that you clicked onto online? So what is the last thing? What was being advertised, or what was the company? Not what website did you go to, but what was the last thing? It might have been Facebook. It might have been social media. It might have been Instagram. It might have been TikTok. It might have been Snapchat. It might have been something on Amazon. It might have been that your cookies was following you and there was some sort of, you've been looking at this and now that. So what's the last thing that you clicked on that was an ad that was essentially targeted to you? So I'll give you guys just a moment to put your response to that in the chat, and we can think a little bit like a consumer for that. So let's see what we have. Wayfair, you were looking for a new couch. Yeah, so you made the mistake of looking at one couch and then everything else was like all about that, right? They were listening to you. I also see clothing that I liked. Yeah, so if that is Judy or just the Judy team, yes, that it follows you around. To take a look at that. Toby says another brokerage sent me a message. I wanted to see what they were offering, doing a little bit of recon under the scenes. Love that, Toby. Okay, so seeing what they had. So again, we're going to think like a trainer. Okay, so like physical trainer, anything like that. Awesome. So we're going to talk today about Facebook ads, but we're going to talk about something before we even talk about building the ad. We're actually going to talk about, we're going to reverse it. So we're going to talk about what to do from the leads of the ad before we even run the ad. So if you hear one thing, or if you take one thing away from this workshop, it is that please, please, please make sure that you are not actually running ads until you know what to do with the leads from those ads. So that's why we're actually going to reverse the order and the way that we look at things today. We're going to talk about smart plans. We're going to talk about those first. And then we're going to talk about some best practices that we've just seen based off of feedback, consumer engagement, leads that are actually coming in. So we'll talk about some of those things. So we are going to get started. Do I have any questions from anyone just before we kind of dive into everything? We're good. Okay. And again, I've got chat up on another monitor over here. So if you guys have questions and you want to just post those in the chat, feel free to do that. Or if we want to kind of pause a little bit and really dive in a little bit, we can absolutely do that. This is your time. Thank you for being here with me. Just want to make sure that you get the best out of today that you possibly can. So if I haven't had an opportunity to meet some of you guys, it's nice to virtually be here with all of you today. My name is Sydney Seymour. I'm the Regional Technology Trainer for the Carolinas region, also known as the RTT, serving both North Carolina and South Carolina. So pleased to work with all of you as well as your market center leadership team. So like I said, today we're going to talk about Facebook. So we're going to talk about how to build a perfect Facebook ad that is going to get you leads. But first, we're going to talk about the follow-up because we really understand that the speed to lead is very, very important. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I've just logged into my command dashboard here. So remember, command is what we use really to manage your business from anything that we are cultivating into closing and then post-close and beyond. What we're going to be talking about today, there's really two main applets that we're going to spend most of our time on. The first one is we're going to talk about smart plans. That's what we're going to talk about first. So smart plans is going to be your follow-up, your leverage. It's everything that you can do for that. The next thing that we're going to talk about is campaigns. So we're going to talk about how to properly build out a Facebook campaign, what we can look at to do that. So we're going to dive into smart plans first. And again, we're doing this a little bit out of order. You might have been to other classes where we're going to talk about building out the campaign first. I do it a little bit differently because I really, truly believe that we have to have the follow-up plan in place when those leads come in. So I'd love to hear from you guys. If you can just do me a favor, if you have ever created a smart plan or even just used a smart plan from the library, just drop a yes in chat, just so I can kind of understand the audience that we have here and just your understanding of some of that. So if you have used a smart plan before, added anybody to a smart plan, just drop a yes in chat for me. Okay, awesome. So we have a good amount of you that are using it. That's fantastic. So we're going to talk about smart plans. So when I go into smart plans, I've got all of my smart plans that I could use right here. Now you might already have a Facebook follow-up lead smart plan. If you do, that's fantastic. If we need to search for something, we can do that very, very easily by coming up to the library right here. So again, we just went into smart plans by clicking on the smart plan applet. And then I just want to search in the library and I want to see what I have there first to take a look at. So remember that smart plans can be really a nice blend of a lot of different ways of communicating with consumers. So they can be a mixture of emails, text messages, reminders for you to make phone calls, reminder for you to do some sort of task interaction. So they can be this really beautiful blend of all different types of activities to continue to cultivate. So when I come into smart plans, we'll see that I've got the Keller Williams smart plans up here. I saw that a lot of you have used like the neighborhood nurture, neighborhood snapshot. Those are Keller Williams that we see up here. Underneath here, we've got the top rated smart plans. So what I really love about Keller Williams is that our culture is always what we lead with. And we even see that in technology where we have smart plans that other agents have created that say, I'm going to publish this to the library. And if you want to use this smart plan, go for it. So we've got top rated where we've got the number of agents that are using it, and then they might choose to rate those smart plans. So we can take a look at that as well. And then underneath that, we've got the what's new smart plans. So some of the newest smart plans that we might see here. So I'm actually going to come up to the top and I'm going to search in the search field right here. Before I search, I'm going to come over here and I want to search by the description, not by necessarily the smart plan name. So I'm going to come up here and search, and I might search for, we're just going to do like online lead. And we're just going to see when we search for that, what comes up. So we've even got older online leads. We've got online leads. We've got 10 days of aggressive smart plan. We've got all of these different things. So I can come up here. Now, maybe I want to get even a little bit more specific. Maybe I know I'm going to do this one on Facebook. So I actually want to come up here and I want to search just by the keyword of Facebook. And then I want to see what pops up for me there. So again, we're doing the follow-up. We're making sure that we have this really in place prior to even running the Facebook ad to make sure that we're ready to go with that. So I'm going to come up here. When I search for Facebook, you'll see that, oh, hang on one second. Sorry, guys, I just keep reloading this page. This is what happens when you have multiple monitors and multiple keyboards. Give me 1 second. So we'll come in here. Perfect. New Facebook lead follow-up. 822 agents are using it. It's got a 4 to 5 star rating. Aged Facebook lead follow-up, Facebook ad follow-up campaign. So maybe I'm like, I like this. I want to look this one. Or I've got 66-day challenge Facebook one. So I can come in here and I can take a look at all of these different follow-up ones that I might want to use. Let's see, we'll use, this is calls, this is text, this is emails. I want to do this one. So this plan triggers a series of calls, texts, and emails that cover just over a month, beginning with heavy communication to Facebook leads. I like this one. Now, if I want to take a look at what actually happens in this smart plan, I can do that really easily from this page by just clicking on view steps. And so it tells me it's going to add it to this smart plan. Then it's going to wait a day, link to something else, wait a day, all these different things, right? So I've got all of these different smart plans right there it's going to do. So we're going to say that we'll do that one, or we'll actually do this one. I'm just going to click. This has more steps. So we'll actually go through. Yeah, let's do this one. So we're going to pick the smart plan that we want to use. Now, again, you could create and customize your own smart plan. I just want to make this as easy as possible. So we're going to add this smart plan. So if we want to take this smart plan and add it to our library, all we're going to do is click on the smart plan and then click on that add smart plan button. So we're just going to click on that green button, and then it's going to give me a chance to rename this plan name so that I know really what this is. So I might say, we're going to call this Facebook Class Smart Plan Test. Now you guys could name it whatever you know based off of or whatever you need to, and say, this is the smart plan I want to use. Then we're going to download that.
Which plan did you use?
I just did the Facebook ad follow-up campaign by Chris, ChrisUpham. Chris Upham. You could use any one that you want. I'm just going to randomly go in and pick one. So once we have added that smart plan, we've renamed it. Now you'll see that I'm going to go into my smart plans. And the first thing I want to do is take a look at this and customize this. Because remember that we are using Chris's smart plan, so it might have his contact information. This is your follow-up. So we would never just send it out without us taking a look at it. So again, I added it to my library. It's the first one right up here. I renamed it Facebook Class Smart Plan Test. You could rename it whatever you want. When I want to actually edit the smart plan or take a look at it, if I just follow this all the way over to the right, you'll see that in the middle section right there, I've got an edit button. That's the pencil. That allows me to go in and make any edits. So I'm going to click on the edit. Is there a question? Sorry, guys. Good. Okay. So I'm going to click on the edit button, and then that's going to take just a moment, and it's actually going to pull up the entire smart plan for me. Now, again, remember, a smart plan is going to be a mixture of tasks. It might be automatic emails. It might be text messages that go out. So I just want to make sure that it's what I actually want it to be. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to look at each of the steps. So the first thing it's going to tell me is a lead comes in from Facebook. The first thing I'm going to do once this contact is added to this smart plan is it's going to have me call the Facebook lead. And so it says, as soon as possible on day one, which is more aggressive, we're going to call the contact, and then they have a full script. Thanks for clicking on my property ad on Facebook. This is blank with Keller Williams Realty. Now, this is just your script, but we could still come in here and change this and say, this is Sydney Seymour with, and then we could do your market center name, right? That's a popular property. Do you have any interest in seeing it either in person or virtually? And then, so we just really go through the script with them. Now, if I don't like the script, I want to completely change it. I can change it to my own script that I might have here as well. But we're going to say, this is the script I like. When I get phone numbers, this is what I'm going to do. I'm a big fan of just saving work as we go through it. So to save this step right here in the smart plan, we're just going to click the save button right there, and then any changes that we've made pull up. Now, the next thing is we're going to send out an automatic text using this smart plan if we have Twilio connected. Now this one, it says, thanks for checking out the property listing I put on Facebook. This is, again, it's not Chris with Keller Williams, right? So we're going to say, this is Sydney. We're going to do your name here, and then your market center, all of that details. And then down here, he's even got his information down here. So this is just where it's really, really important that we're actually going through and taking a look at a smart plan before we're sending it out to ensure that it's the smart plan that we want, number one, and number two, that the content is correct. So we could change this. We can take all of this out, and we could just put your contact information here. Then we would do your phone number. We might do your email. Whatever you'd like to do. We might even want to throw your website up there. And then if you guys love emojis, we can even throw some emojis up here. So if you wanted to add a house next to the house or whatever you wanted to do, we could add some emojis there as well. We're going to hit save on that step because we made changes, and I always want to make sure I'm saving my changes. Then it's going to wait one day, and then it's going to send out an email. So it's going to say, hi to contact name. I sent you a text yesterday about the house I put on Facebook. Just wanted to be sure. Is this the best number to reach you? Thank you for checking out that listing. Are there any questions you might have about that property or any other neighborhood you'd like more information on? And same thing, I'm not going to actually do the work, but We're not Chris. So we're going to take all of this information out right here and make it your own for that email. Then it's going to wait another day. It's going to have you make another phone call. It's going to wait another day, create a task for you to text that Facebook lead. Wait another day. It's going to send that text out, so on and so forth. So again, we just need to make sure whatever we're using for the smart plan, that we come in and we make any changes that we want to. If we're saying, I want to actually add another phone call, we can do that by adding all of these steps over here if we choose to. So do I have any questions from anyone on just pulling a smart plan into the library and making any changes to it? We're good. Okay. Something that I love is we also have the ability in a smart plan to add what we call a trigger event. And at this point, a trigger event can be a tag. So let's say that we have a tag that we created that is called Facebook lead. What we can do is, as those leads come in from Facebook, we can automatically say, okay, this is a new lead. Let me go in and let me tag it. So I can tag that. And so I can say the category is contacts. The trigger event is a contact tag. And then I can come in here and let's say that, I don't think I have a Facebook one, but we'll just see. Yeah. So let's say we have this tag of Facebook lead, right? And I want to choose that trigger. So then it tells me right here, if Aisha comes in as a lead from Facebook and I say, let me tag her as Facebook lead, I don't have to do anything else to move her to this smart plan. By me tagging her as whatever I've said is the trigger, she will automatically be added to this smart plan. So you're essentially saving a fair amount of time there and just ensuring that anything that comes in as a true lead, yeah, Aisha, I called you out, right? You're my Facebook lead. That you, when I tag you as such, you're automatically going to be added to this smart plan. And we can pick up to 10 tags for that. So again, super easy way for us to just save a little bit of time, automatically tag them as such, and then they'll be moved right into this smart plan. So we're just going to confirm that trigger. And then again, I don't have to tag and add to the smart plan. By tagging, they're added to the smart plan for that. And so you'll see right up here, it says the contact tag trigger is the Facebook lead. They're going to be added right into this Facebook follow-up smart plan. So we have done all the work we want to on the smart plan. We're going to choose save right up here. So we're just going to click on that save button. Again, I'm a big fan, you guys, of like, if you're going through, taking some time, just making sure that you're constantly hitting that save button, because I don't want you to lose your work or anything that you've created so hard. If there are contacts with that tag, will the trigger run? Okay, Toby, that's a great question. And just to make sure I'm understanding that correctly. So if I already have a contact in my database that is tagged at Facebook lead, when I create this smart plan and add that as a tag trigger, would that contact then start this smart plan automatically? Is that the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the answer in a nutshell is no. So this is going to be from this point on, anybody that you tag will automatically be added to this smart plan. Yeah, but that's a great question. Great question. Any other questions from anyone before we actually go into the building out of the Facebook ad? So any questions just on dropping in the smart plan, creating that? And again, I know this might seem like, oh, well, we've always kind of learned it a different way, or there was a different order. I just think it's so valuable that we have to make sure that once those leads come in, we really know it's speed to lead and time is money. So we just want to make sure we have this follow-up plan so that they're immediately getting pushed over to that. All right. So let's go into the really fun stuff, which is building out a Facebook campaign or a Facebook ad. We're going to do that by going into the campaigns applet, which is over on the left, which I think looks like a little bit of a bullhorn. So I asked you guys if you've used smart plans. I'm going to ask you another question and just have you answer that in chat. Just drop a yes in chat for me if you have ever run a Facebook ad directly through command. So I'll give you guys just a moment to answer that. So if you've ever run a Facebook ad through command, just drop a yes in the chat for me. Awesome. A lot of you have. I love to see that. All right. We're talking about some best practices for it. It takes a little bit of time, but I'm going to encourage you to take off your real estate agent hat when we are running a Facebook campaign and to put on your consumer hat. So I'm going to ask you to think a little bit like a consumer, a little less like a real estate agent. Let's think of what the consumer is craving. And so that's why I really started off the class asking you, what's the last ad that you clicked on? And I want you to think, why did you click on it? What was enticing you? And so what I mean by that is, when we are creating a Facebook ad, are we really offering something that they would click on that they cannot get anywhere else? Right? And so how are we wording the ad? What are we putting into it? So we need to kind of think a little bit like a marketing team, a little bit like a consumer when we're building out these ads, and what can I deliver that other people might not be delivering on, or how can I kind of mix it up a little bit? And I've got some really great tips based off of what we're seeing as far as engagement for that. So the first thing that we're going to do is go into campaigns, and we're going to say we're going to create a new campaign, and we're going to choose the first option, which is a paid social ad. So we're going to click on that. Then it's going to ask us to enter a campaign name. So as these leads come in, you'll see that you will see what campaign these leads are associated with. So we just want to make sure that we're taking the time to really write in here what this campaign is, because as we start to see that we got, 100 leads or all these engagements, and we want to just continue to like duplicate that, these ads seem to be working, we need to kind of know and understand what sort of ad we were running. And so we might say that we're doing a campaign name. Again, I'm going to give it like a very, very fake test name here. So we'll say that this is Facebook class test. But if this is for an open house, you might want to put the open house and the address. If this is for a new listing, you might want to put the address of the listing and that it's a new listing, whatever it is. Now, listings are the new gold, right? I think we all know that. So if we have a listing that we can advertise, let's run with it, because people are clicking on those and really wanting those right now because there is such a lack of inventory. But it's important that if that's not what we're doing, that we're actually taking some time and we're looking at and answering what is the goal of this. And here's why this matters. Keller Williams is reading behind the scenes. And so if I say, okay, I want to attract listings, they're pulling the data. This is where we really have the power of all of you as associates using this platform together. They're pulling the data. And so they're saying, okay, if you want to attract listings, this is the best kind of wording that we've seen in the ad for us to attract listings. This is the best time for you to post on Facebook for the most engagement. So don't just come in here and say, oh, this is test, this is whatever. Like, really take the time to put in truthfully what this is going to be, because the metrics will greatly help you with the ads that you're running. So we're going to say that we want to attract listings because we got to find more listings, right? We need more gold. And then it's going to tell you down here, the focus is we're going to find sellers who are looking for agents who can sell their home. That's the intention of this ad. And then where will my campaign run? I can run it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This is really nice, and this will save you some time. If I'm running it on both Facebook as well as Instagram, I can actually create the ad for both of them right here on one page. So I don't have to come in and do Facebook, then come back out and do Instagram. I can do it at the same time. I feel like most people are probably doing Facebook. So we're going to stick with that and go through some best practices for that. And then all we have to do is just click Setup Campaign. And then it's going to take us just a moment. We're going to go into the page right here. And here is where I love, because it saves us so much time. So let me just find... There we go. We're going to skip this because we don't need a tour. Now, I said that I was not doing this based off of a listing, but if you really had a true listing that you wanted to advertise, we could come right up here and we could add that listing that way. Now you'll see right here, I've got the ad text over here on the right. It's going to show me what my ad is going to look like. So we want to pay attention to this. We want to make sure spelling is correct, grammar makes sense. We want to make sure that this is the true ad as we want it to run, because once we publish, it's out. So we need to make sure we're paying attention to that. So what I love pay attention to these little light bulbs. So this one says, keep your text short, clear, and to the point to get your message across. Talk about any exciting landmarks or amenities nearby. And then I even have a suggestion down here. So the main copy here says, thinking of selling, not sure if now is the right time. We can help you find out what your home is worth in today's market. Contact us today. If I like that, short, simple, to the point, I can choose use suggestion. If I don't love that one, it doesn't really sound like me, I want to maybe see what else I have. I can click on shuffle, and then it takes me right to the next one. I will continue to shuffle, and we'll just use that one. We'll say that we're going to use this suggestion. Now I can come right in here and I can type more here. So I can continue to add that out. Same thing, I can throw some emojis up there if I want to do that. So I can click on that to be able to add those emojis as well. And then you'll see over here, it starts to really be built out. I see everything popping out over here to the right of the ad. Underneath that, we've got the headline. So this is going to be really the true headline. This is going to be whatever's at the top of the page for you. So it says, try this, need to move. Maybe I don't love that. I want to see what else to shuffle. I might like, what's your home worth? I'm going to use that suggestion. And then description, find out what your home is worth in today's market. Let's see what else we got. I can help you get the most for your home. Let me tell you about your neighborhood housing market today. I like that one. I'm going to use suggestion. We're good with that. So does everybody see how it's starting to really be built out over here? I just want to make sure that I don't have any questions about this. Jill, I see your question. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh. So Jill, I do see your question in the chat. And when we get down to targeting, that's a great question. We'll talk about that. So we're building out the ad over here really just with the text first. So then we can click right over here, save ad text. And then we're going to go into the ad media. Now this is so important. I want you to think of something. The last thing that you stopped for, whether it was an ad, whether it was something that you looked at, what made you stop the scroll? And so this is where I want you to think like a consumer, not an agent. What made you stop the scroll? Meaning we're all on our phones like this all day long scrolling. What makes you stop? What captures your attention? So I can almost guarantee you that it's not a 5-minute video of you walking through a house. So remember, like, we all know that we have, a funny meme, Toby, I love that. So we have like the attention span, I think, of a goldfish right now. We all know that. So we have to have something that kind of captures their attention from the very beginning. It could be a beautiful picture of the home. It could be something really nice that you made in designs. It could be some sort of interesting, if the best feature of the property that you've listed is the outdoor area, let's target that. Let's not do the home, the front picture of the house if that's not the best thing. So let's really think about like what would make them stop the scroll, and let's go ahead and do that. Now, under the ad media, we have the ability to add images. We can also add video. We're going to choose images. And I'm a big fan of actually coming in. We'll do add images. I'm going to browse my design library here. You guys have some really, really beautiful designs over in your design templates that really, rather than just doing like the one picture of the listing or the property, if we wanted to do it that way, we can pull in some really, really beautiful things. I'll just pick this one. I didn't create anything prior to the class for this, so I'm just randomly pulling in a design that we have. Now, again, if I have those images saved on my computer, I could do that here as well, but we're going to say we like this one. And then we're going to make it square. So again, it's just, we're kind of taking a look at this. We're going to save the image. And then over here on the right, you'll see that we've got that image right over there. Couldn't add a video from Vimeo. What kind of video does it need to be to work? And how long can a video be? Great question. So let's go into video and let's take a look. Select media for this campaign. We can upload a video. We've got best practices right here. Recommended length is 15 seconds or less. And then the aspect ratios have to be basically right here, sound enabled with captions included. Now we can upload it here, or if we have a linked video, we can do the URL right here and just validate that URL for it. So we should, if 15 seconds or less is kind of what they're recommending. So a lot of times we see that it's too long of a video, but Jill, if it's not, yeah, we can take a look at that. Shannon, can I access the recording at a later time if that's regarding this workshop, this class? Yeah, these are all kept on our YouTube channel. So if you just look for KW Carolinas region, they'll all be there for you. All right, so we're going to keep with the images. Let me go back. Perfect. Now, if I wanted to add multiple images, I could do that and it would just kind of show up as a carousel. So I could do that as well, but we're going to stick with the one right here. We're going to save that add media right here. And so I want to make sure that I have these check marks next to all of these. That just lets me know that I can kind of continue to go add. So we're going to look at the Facebook ad now. So we're going to configure the Facebook ad. And then it's important that we're paying attention here to what page we're going to run this on. So you'll see the account is always going to be your personal account. So remember that a business Facebook page is always based off of a personal Facebook account. A lot of you might have multiple pages that you manage. So we need to make sure that we're actually pulling in the correct page that we want to for this. So in that drop-down menu, we're just going to pick wherever we want this to be posted. And again, we might just want to come up here and make sure this is the correct page of where you want that to be. Because again, you could have your team page. You might have, like, some people manage a neighborhood page for their, their home. So we just need to make sure this is truly your real estate business page is where we want to have this. And you'll see right here, it will show up here as your name, whatever the name of that page is, all the details right here, photo, we'll have all of that right here. So again, the first thing is just to make sure that we're paying attention to that page. All right, question number 3 for those of you that are on the call. Those of you that have created a Facebook ad using Command prior, I just want you to drop a yes in chat if this has ever happened to you. So if you have ever run a Facebook campaign through Command, have you ever run it and you've seen that you've gotten like a crazy amount of impressions? Meaning like 20,000 people looked at it, people clicked at it, like you got all of this great engagement and you got very, very low leads, sometimes maybe no leads. So if that has ever happened to you, drop a yes in the chat. So you've gotten, people are looking at it, people are clicking, people are doing all of these things, yet we don't have any leads. Let me see what we have here. So we've got a couple yeses for that. You're like, that's why we're here. Yeah. Okay. Got it. All right. Biggest tip for that, biggest thing that we need to see that we make sure we're doing, 2 really, really important things here. It's the destination URL. So let me walk you through kind of how this works. That just makes sense to me. We always want to make sure that we are using the Facebook lead generation form. So essentially what this means, and they'll tell you right here, we recommend using the Facebook lead generation form. If we keep it on that, what happens is I'm scrolling through Facebook. I see an ad. I see something that's interesting to me. I click on the ad. I click on where it says learn more details, contact us, whatever it might be. If that business page has it set up properly where we are using the Facebook lead generation form, then what that means is that by me clicking on that button, Facebook takes all of the information and that's what comes across as the lead. So essentially by me using that Facebook lead generation form, my email address that I used when I created my Facebook account, my name that I used when I created my Facebook account, if I added my phone number to my Facebook account, all of those details will come in as a lead. So it's the data that Facebook is taking. 9 times out of 10, when we hear from agents that you're getting a crazy amount of impressions or people are clicking or whatever it is, but you're not getting any true leads, 9 times out of 10, you're not using the Facebook lead generation form. You are using just a site or a landing page. So we always want to make sure that we're using the Facebook lead generation page for that, rather than just using a site or a landing page. And then right here, we've got the button call to action label. When we call it that, what we mean is right up here at the ad where it says learn more. What do I want that to say? So what do I want to entice? Sign up, apply now, learn more. I like the learn more. We're going to stick with that. And then the final thing that we want to make sure we're paying attention to is what is the follow-up destination URL? And this is important because this is how it works. Someone clicks on your ad. We're using the Facebook lead gen form. Facebook scrubs all their data, comes into you as a lead, but here's where you have a fantastic opportunity. After they click on the learn more, what page do you then want them to be taken to? So they have an opportunity to automatically be sent to whatever website or web page you enter right here. So let's talk about a couple important tips and some best practices for this. So give me 1 second. I'm going to pull up just this is just a demo website. So I'm going to go to the KW website, but here's the trick. What a lot of agents do is they just take the home page of their website and that's what they put right here for the destination URL, meaning they register, Facebook takes the data, comes to you as a lead. What website do you then want to send them to? So I could send them to this website, which is really fine, but now I'm making them do the work, right? So what we see with consumers is a lot of times if they go to this, it's just kind of like, oh, okay, this is an agent's website. That's fine. Let me click out of it. So what I encourage you to do is to set what we call a mousetrap. So let's go to your website first. So we need to know what your Keller Williams command website is, which your Market Center Tech Trainer can help you figure that out. It's going to be in your command pages. So when we come to your website, and then I'm going to come right up here and I'm going to search like a consumer. And so I'm going to search we'll do Charlotte, North Carolina. And I'm going to search there. I'm going to see what homes pop up. I've got a ton of properties, right? So I want to mousetrap it a little bit more, okay? So let's say that the ad that I was creating was for a new listing in Charlotte that is $350,000. So I'm going to mousetrap it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to search for a listing in Charlotte. I'm going to come up here. I want to make sure that it's active. Maybe I don't want foreclosures. Maybe I don't want short sale. So I'm looking at this like a consumer, right? So I'm coming in here. I'm looking at the listing status. And then I'm going to come right over here to price. And I want to do that sweet spot. So we're going to say maybe up to 575, starting at, and again, you guys know your market, right? We'll start at 280. We'll see what that looks like. So now I've got however many properties kind of fall under that metric right there. I could even come in here to property type if I just wanted to do houses. I don't want townhomes or anything like that. I can even do bedroom, bath. I can come here to more, but I'm thinking like a consumer, right? Because you guys tell me, if we're thinking like a consumer, let me just pull this up again. Do you feel as if the consumer might engage more with your website if after they click on the ad, it takes them to a page that looks like this, where they're able to click on images, they're able to click on properties, they're able to search by the map, like we've done the legwork for them. Do you feel as if the engagement might be better here versus just bringing them here?
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is fine. This is a great website, but you're making them do the work here. So take the 2 seconds, think like a consumer, figure out what you want to do here and do that deep dive. And then all we're going to do is this link up here, this URL. All we're going to do is copy that. And that's what we're going to use right down here. Let me just get rid of this for the page. So they decide that they want more information about the ad. Facebook is going to pull their data because we use the Facebook lead gen form, and then it's automatically going to drop them right over to this, where I've done the work for them. We find the engagement is so much longer. We find they're potentially registering again on this site. They're favoriting, and you're seeing all of that through command. So rather than just always taking your website and doing that, do that mousetrap, deep little dive and take a look at that. Okay. I do see a question. Your comment begs the question, how do I know if my business page is set up properly? So Toby, that's a great question. If you can pick your business page right in here, then that lets you know that it is in settings of command. It's set up properly that it can run off of that. So if you don't have a page that's attached right here or anything that you can pick, we would just need to look in the settings, which is under your name at the top right, and ensure that your Facebook account is indeed set up properly through command.
Yes, ma'am. So Sydney, you were saying that you use the Facebook, I guess the template for lead gen form, and that if it wasn't set up right, then you wouldn't get the right info. But as long as we have something to pull down, then we'll get the right info.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So Toby, what we usually see, there's no way for you to change this or customize this, but what we see sometimes is agents just think, well, I want them to go to my website, so I'm going to use this. We always want to make sure you're using the Facebook lead gen form, which is Facebook maintains that. And then it's automatically, we call this the follow-up destination URL. So it tells you after viewers submit the Facebook lead form, which means they just click on learn more. It directs them to this website automatically.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. I know that destination was a lot, but it's just such an important thing. Do I have any questions from anyone on how to pull in the destination URL, the Facebook lead gen form? Any questions at all with that? Okay, perfect. We're going to go into really the last kind of section right in here before we figure out our budget, and that's the ad targeting. Now, what I love is that we have the ability to target anywhere across the world. So a lot of you might work in Hilton Head or Charlotte or different areas, but if you know that people are moving from this area into your market, we could run 2 different Facebook ads. So we could run one for your local market, and then one, if you see tons of people are moving here from New York or Philadelphia or larger metropolitan cities, we could run one up there, and it could be something along the lines of, look what $250,000 can get you in the mountains, right? So we can do it based off of anywhere across the globe. A lot of times we're obviously going to start local because that's where we want to find the business, but remember that we can expand anywhere we want for that. So we can do the location. We can do the area right here. So I can search, we'll do Charlotte again. And then we'll be able to pick that area. Facebook rules always still apply here. So the smallest radius we can get to is a 15-mile radius around that. So that's going to be a Facebook rule. We still have to do that. And then I am going to come down here and I want to talk about expert targeting, and this is optional. So a couple things here. Understand that if we don't go in here and target, Facebook is still going to run their magic behind the scenes and do that targeting for you. So I will tell you, sometimes I hear from some agents that are running ads that they've gone in and they've added interest and they think, well, I'm not even getting anything from it. So let's just be careful. Are we targeting and drilling down almost too much, that we're making it so that the audience is so small that nobody's really seeing it? It's so specific to that. Now, if you guys use this, you might notice that we have a change in this recently. So I might want to say that my interest might be, maybe I want real estate to be one of my interest. So I'm going to say real estate investing. Maybe I want something like that. And then I also want real estate development. So maybe this is going to be like a flip or a tear down or something like that. And I want to do that. I can come in here and I can save those too if I want to do that. And then you'll see I've got this option to narrow the audience down. If I click on narrow audience, and this is a update, this is about maybe a month and a half that we've had this. So maybe I come in here and I say, I also want agriculture And I'll just pick a couple more for you guys. We'll do maybe it's near a college. We'll do education. And then we'll pick maybe one more. We'll do house hunting. Sounds good. All right, we'll hit save. Here's what happens now. This is this is new. So if you've run ads months ago, this wasn't here. If I do the expert targeting this way, which again is 100% optional, it's going to include or target people who have one of these interests. So it's going to say, okay, we're interested in real estate investing, or we're interested in real estate develop. And they must also match one of these down here. So they have to have this first interest in real estate investing or development, and they have to have it. So it's a way for you to really get narrower and narrower and narrower for that. Again, I mean, it's a mixed bag. Some people say I actually have better engagement, organic engagement, if I don't do any expert targeting. I just let it run in the area. Some people say, well, this is a luxury listing, or it's land, or it's, with horse farms or whatever it is. And I really, really want to target that way. So you can kind of play around with this and see what you'd like to do with that. We can even continue to narrow that audience down. Just know that you are really narrowing it for that. And then the final thing, we're going to make sure that we choose save that Facebook ad. We want to make sure we have all the checklists right here. And then the final thing that we're going to take a look at is the duration and the budget right here. And so they even tell you, we recommend a 10 days campaign and a budget of $1 per channel per day. Now today is the 14th. It's never going to be able to start on the day that we're creating it. So the 15th, that's when it's going to be able to start. We're going to run it for 10 days. If I wanted to switch this and I say, gosh, homes are selling really quickly now, I don't want it for 10 days. I just want it for that long, 5 days. And then my total campaign budget is $30. So that means I'm going to get $6 per day for the budget. And it tells you right here, 5 days, $6 per channel, $30 total. And then we can, if we don't want to spend that much, maybe for this one, we want to come down. We say, I'm just testing this out. I want to spend $20. Then I can work that out right here. Before we hit up here, publish campaign, I really, really encourage you guys to take just one last double check at this. So let's look at the ad text, make sure everything there is good as we want it. We're going to come in here to the Facebook ad. We're going to make sure that we're using the Facebook lead gen form. Is this the follow-up destination URL? So you're just giving it one more look before you hit that publish. And then we're going to come up here, make sure this is as we see fit. Everything looks great. Spelling, grammar, everything looks the way that we want it to. I'm not going to publish this because this is not a real ad, but we would be able to hit publish campaign. Or if you didn't want to do it yet, maybe you're like, oh, I want to wait a little bit. I want to push it out, or I want to think if I want to make any changes. I can always hit save as draft. And then it's going to just confirm that I want to save that as a draft. And I'll be able to do that right from there. So I'm going to pause. I know that was a good amount of content. I'm going to pause just a second there just to see if we have any questions about just creating the campaign. Okay, we're good. Awesome.
Well, Sydney, I'm going to be that guy, and I'm going to ask.
Please.
Because all of us that do real estate with Keller Williams aren't necessarily getting listings, finding buyers. Some of us are actually trying to recruit other agents. Mm-hmm. Is there I haven't even looked to see, but is there a plan that will allow, or are there metrics on the backside, like the best words to use for whatever? Is that available for recruiting?
So we don't have a recruiting one. I actually did a recruiting one right here. So you would run it the same way, and you would that's where I would kind of think about, like, what am I posting? What do I want there? The metrics for that. I did this back in August, where we saw like people were losing jobs still and stuff like that. And we really basically did it as like a, hey, we're hiring. So I would kind of tell you to you could look at real estate websites, maybe look at market center websites for just some wording of that. Cause I think recruiting ones are probably coming on the market center side, but not here under the agent side yet. Okay. Does that answer your question?
It does, but I mean, yes, it does.
Just not the answer you wanted.
Yeah, well, not. I need to drill down tighter because, the market center will take anybody that's with, that wants to be in the market center. I need a team of specific kinds of people, and I don't necessarily want existing agents.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So I think for that, Toby, I would just kind of think about like putting that plan in place and asking the wording. And I'd maybe kind of lab it with a couple agents in your market center, or just get feedback before you actually pay for it of like, would you click on this if you saw it? Like maybe just ask some people.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing that I do want to point out, this is a nice update as well, is when we're looking at, so I'm in my campaigns right now. These are all the campaigns that we've run. So once it's completed, you'll have that completed tag right here. You'll have the days it ran for, the number of impressions, number of clicks, all of that. The dollar amount that you spent. And then directly underneath that, this is actually a link that will take you directly to the leads that you received for that campaign. Now you'll be able to search for them anywhere under contacts as well, but that is a nice new little section right there where we'll be able to go directly into those leads from that campaign. These are super, super old, so I actually don't even know if I've archived them, but we'll take a look at this. But that way we don't have to go in and search and do lead sources. We can just click directly on that where it says the leads, and it'll take you right over to the list of the leads from that specific campaign, which is really nice.
Earlier, we created a trigger based on a tag.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way that when people do the lead form or whatever, that it automatically adds that tag to them?
So that's coming. You'll actually have the ability when you're creating the Facebook ad to say anybody that comes in as a lead from this, I automatically want to tag them as such, or I want to add them to the smart plan if you don't have a tag trigger. That's coming. We're labbing it right now. So hopefully very soon that'll be there. So coming, hopefully, fingers crossed soon. Again, yeah. So if you guys have wanting to rewatch this, because I just got a question in chat about that, this is on our YouTube channel. So if you just go search for KW Carolinas, this will be as soon as I can download it and then upload it. I try to do it by end of day. This will be there. I did just want to show you guys. So if we go into the leads here, we do have the ability. These are old. Sorry, they've just been archived. But we'll have the ability to click on the leads right here. And once you do that, it's not popping up here, but you'll have down here where you have the ability to add them to a smart plan or to tag them. So you will have the ability to do that as well. So again, it's a step we're working on and labbing where that will automatically come up, and hopefully, fingers crossed, that'll be soon. All right, so I'm going to stop that share right there. And just before we end for the day, just see if there's any questions or comments or anything you guys would like to discuss around this. Just checking.
For anybody that's actually done it, can we get some of their best practices?
Yeah, meaning Toby, if there's anybody on this call, or?
Yeah, I know that some others had created Facebook ads. What would be the things that they've used or that they've said, the pictures they've done, going for listings, whatever their goals, what are the ones that they've seen work better than others?
So if anybody has anything, feel free to add. Just based off of all the coaching and everything that I've done with agents, Toby, it's right now it's listings. If you have a listing, but it's just enticing, like, can you believe what you can get for $250,000 in whatever? And then click here for more details. It's having the photo of that. I mean, anything like that. We see listings right now. We see the biggest engagement with that. If you don't have listings, ask someone in your market center that has a listing if you could market it for them, see what they think about that. But that is where we see the biggest engagement with ads. Anyone else? Any questions, comments, anything to add? Nope. All right, I'm going to stop recording.